Haytham bin Tariq receives small caves of greetings on His Majesty's Accession Day anniversary. The COVID-19 Supreme Committee decides to close the land borders of the Sultanate for 1 week, which can be extended starting from 6 p.m. on Monday, January 18th. Within the national campaign for immunization against COVID-19, the Ministry of Health begins the second dose of vaccination with Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. And school students in various governorates of the Sultanate start returning to school. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received more cables of greetings on His Majesty's Accession Day anniversary, the glorious 11th of January, from His Excellency Lieutenant General Abdul Fattah Abdurrahman al-Burhan, head of Sudan's Transitional Military Council, His Excellency Mahmoud Abbas, President of Palestine, Chairman of the Executive Committee of Palestine Liberation Organization, His Excellency President Ramnath Kovind of the Republic of India, and His Excellency Dr. Naif Falah Al-Hajraf, Secretary General of Gulf Cooperation Council. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received cable thanks from the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, in reply to His Majesty's cable of condolences on the death of Her Royal Highness Princess Tarfah bint Hadlul bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The COVID-19 Supreme Committee, chaired by His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, followed up the developments of the pandemic and its prevention procedures. The committee reviewed specialized technical teams' report on the spread of the highly contagious new strain of coronavirus COVID-19 and to protect all individuals in the society from the virus in general and from the new strain in particular. The Supreme Committee has decided to close the land borders posts of the Sultanate for a period of 1 week, which can be extended starting from 6 p.m. on Monday, January 18th, 2021. The committee noticed complacency from some citizens and residents in adhering to the precautionary measures adopted by the competent authorities, especially not wearing masks and holding gatherings with large number of people for social events in tents and other places, which may cause the virus to spread in the community. The Supreme Committee affirms that the authorities concerned continue to follow up on violators of its decisions and punish them to protect community members from contracting this disease and preserve what has been achieved. Praise be to Allah, such as observing low number of infections as well as less deaths resulting from this pandemic and the decrease in the number of people in hospital wards and intensive care units. May Allah protect everyone from any harm. The Ministry of Health begins the second dose vaccination today with Pfizer-BioNTech anti-coronavirus vaccine for people who received the first dose during the past weeks as a continuation of the first phase of the national campaign for vaccination against COVID-19 in the Sultanate. Our reporter Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai met with His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Saidi, Minister of Health, immediately after receiving his second dose, and he had this to say.
I'm happy to say that I've received the second dose of the vaccine today, 3 weeks since I've had the first dose. And with the first dose, I didn't have any side effects apart from mild headache, which disappeared within a few hours. We covered in most governorate of Oman between 95 and 100% of those 20% we had in the first phase of this vaccine. So far, we have not registered any major side effects. Worldwide, there were more than 26 million received the vaccine, the same vaccine, which is at the moment, unfortunately, the only one available in the Sultanate and many countries, Pfizer. And there were no reports, confirmed reports of major side effects. I'm very pleased also with the response from the public in Oman to the vaccine. I think the level of knowledge about the benefits of vaccine in Oman is very good. For those who don't know, Oman was rated #1 worldwide in 2016 in management of vaccines. That was from 127 countries assessed by WHO. Oman was rated #1, and we are still keeping the same standard and level. I need to remind everybody that the vaccine doesn't mean the end of this pandemic. And unfortunately, there isn't a country which can manage to get vaccines to cover everybody they need to vaccinate. Therefore, especially with the new strains of the virus, with the new variants, which are at least 3 or 4 of them already known scientifically, we need to continue doing the same precautions that we did before. The tools we have are protective from the new vaccine. That's the mask to be worn appropriately where appropriate and to be disposed of also properly. Unfortunately, I've seen it being thrown on beaches, on roads, and everywhere. And this is a risk for public health in addition to the environment, unfortunately, pollution, which we can do without. So the mask, physical spacing or distance, and of course hand hygiene and respiratory etiquettes. Unfortunately, as you've been following, the pandemic is still very active worldwide. Many countries went back to complete lockdown. I hope we will never need to go back to that in Oman. All of us, we need to work and to be responsible to avoid that. The tools are available with all of us. I need also to mention that luckily so far the new strains are responsive to the same treatments of the old strain, and also the Pfizer vaccine been proven to be effective against the new strains. Please keep your physical distance, wear your mask, continue looking after your family, yourself, and the society, and help us to keep reducing the load on our healthcare services by reducing the number of cases of this pandemic, which unfortunately we already in the second year of it.
The Minister of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 131,790, while the total number of deaths reached 1,512. The total recovered cases reached 124,067, which is 94.1% of the total recovery rate. The Minister indicated that the total number of inpatients during the 24 hours reached 69, of which 21 are in intensive care units. The National Blood Donation Campaign was launched today under the auspices of His Highness Said Kamil bin Fahd Al Said, Assistant Secretary General of the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers. More details in the following report.
Under the theme, Be the One, the National Blood Donation Campaign kicked off today under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Kamil bin Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said, Assistant Secretary General of the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers. The campaign is organized by the Directorate General of Specialized Medical Care at the Ministry of Health, represented by the Blood Bank Services Department. The one-year campaign, in which different blood banks in the Sultanate are involved, aims to motivate Omani youth to take initiative in this humanitarian work and spread the culture of voluntary blood donation among the various segments of the society. His Highness Sayyid Kamil bin Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said extended his deep thanks to all the blood donors and urging all persons who are able to donate to join in this campaign.
This is not only a local campaign, but it's an international campaign, and one that many people all over the globe has contributed to. And today is the first day it's being launched in the Sultanate of Oman, and it will span a year's time. The most important message this campaign wants to give out to the public is, first of all, to encourage the youth to donate blood, and also to spread awareness of the importance of donating blood, not only to the donor, but also the person who is receiving the blood. But I think the most important message of all is the continuity of donating blood. The Sultanate needs 5,000 units of blood every month, and it's hoped that with this campaign we will achieve these numbers and beyond. And I would like to thank the Ministry of Health, the blood bank services, the educational institutions, the media, who no doubt have a big role to play, and all the blood donors, and wish them all the best and success.
There is a great need for blood in our healthcare institutions. It is estimated that we need around 5,000 blood donations monthly to support hospitals. Our blood bank, our Department of Blood Bank Services require around 100 to 200 blood units daily to provide the support to the hospitals.
After the donation, His Highness had this to say.
As you know, today's campaign is called Be the One, and as you correctly said, I just finished to donate. It was a very easy and seamless process. It took no more than 15 minutes, and I didn't feel any pain. And I would really encourage all the youth to take 15 minutes of their time to come down to any blood bank donation services and donate some of their time and some of their blood to this noble cause.
It's worth mentioning that His Highness Sayyid Kamil bin Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed is one of the first blood donors and supportive of blood donation campaigns. Give blood, give now, give often. There is a need of blood throughout our healthcare institutions. So you and I, we need to donate. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
School students in the various governorates of the Sultanate have begun to the gradually returning to school according to the blended education system. Returning in the first phase is limited to the 1st, 4th, 5th, 9th and 11th grades, according to what the Ministry of Education has announced, in light of its efforts to provide safe education opportunities and ensure the safety of students and the administrative and teaching staff. In light of the continuing COVID-19 pandemic and in line with the decision of the Supreme Committee of COVID-19, the Ministry of Education has made it clear that students will receive, according to the blended education system, individual development materials through educational platforms and urge them to use them to carry out various duties and activities. There will also be a support investigation team from the Ministry of Health in schools that will support the main team at the level of each governorate. The gradual return of students to their schools comes based on the many justifications, the most important of which the positive results in applying the health protocol in schools, as well as the need for direct education in some curricula. The Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Oman Convention and Exhibition Center regarding the organization of exhibitions, activities and conferences from both sides in the field of culture, sports and youth. His Excellency Sayyid Saeed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth for Culture, said that the Memorandum of Understanding came within the framework to exchange expertise and information in the related fields, such as well as to enhance the opportunity for future cooperation. Still to come, our news bulletin. The funerary temple of Egyptian Queen Neith is discovered in Giza. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Gunmen fired on a car in northern Kabul today, killing 2 women judges who worked for Afghanistan's High Court and wounding the driver. It was the latest attack in the Afghan capital during peace talks between Taliban and Afghan government officials in Qatar. Spokesman from the Supreme Court in Afghanistan said the women were judges who worked for the High Court. No one claimed responsibility for the attack, and Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid said the insurgent group wasn't responsible. Workers in Jakarta today brought to shore more debris from the Indonesian plane that crashed earlier this month. They laid it out at the Jakarta port as such efforts for wreckage and human remains continue. They also laid out bags thought to contain human remains at the port today. The Sriwijaya Air Boeing 737-500 lost contact with air traffic controllers minutes after taking off from Jakarta during heavy rain on January 9th. The jet crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 62 people on board. The 26-year-old Boeing 737-500 was out of service for almost 9 months last year because of the flight cutbacks caused by the pandemic. The airline and Indonesian officials say it underwent inspections, including for possible engine corrosion that could have developed during the layoff before return commercial flights in December. An Egyptian archaeologist mission discovered in Giza a funerary temple yesterday dating back over 4,000 years and belonging to Queen Nit, wife of King Teti. Famed Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass was in charge of the expedition in the Saqqara necropolis. The dig has been going on since 2007. The mission also found burial shafts coffins with mummies, statues, stelae, toys, wooden boats, and funerary masks, plus a 5-meter-long papyrus depicting chapter 17 of the Book of the Dead. During the excavations, 22 burial shafts were found, and inside the shafts, more than 50 wooden coffins uncovered dating back to Egypt's New Kingdom. The coffins are decorated with many scenes depicting Egypt's gods that were worshipped during this period. The discovery is a cooperation with the Ministry of Antiquities and Bibliotheca Alexandrina and Zahi Hawass Center. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq receives more cables of greetings on His Majesty's Accession Day anniversary. The COVID-19 Supreme Committee decides to close the land borders of the Sultanate for 1 week, which can be extended starting from 6 p.m. on Monday, January 18th. Within the national campaign for immunization against COVID-19, the Ministry of Health begins the second dose of vaccination with Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. And the school students in various governorates of the Sultanate start returning to school from today. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, thanks for your time. Good night.